Hello and welcome to episode, I want to say 12 of the Boot Nerds podcast.
It's 12.
Okay, we're good. What's going on, Jay?
What's up, man? Good to be back. Before we get started, as per usual, if you're new here or if you enjoy the content, whatever you do, basically, whatever reason you have, go leave a like on the video. It's gonna help us tremendously in spreading the word. So if you can please do that. Whether you like it or not, just leave us a like. We're gonna be super happy. Also, don't forget, of course, to subscribe to the channel. To see, get a little notification when things pop up. You can click the little bell icon and yeah, leave us a comment if you want to have your questions answered in the next Boot Nerds podcast episode. Of course, also, if you want to actually listen to this on your favorite podcast app, you can do so either if you go to bootnerds.com on the interwebs or simply if you go to Apple Podcast or Spotify and search for The Boot Nerds, and we'll be there and you can listen to everything while you wash the dishes or whatever you decide to do on your spare time. So yeah, it's great. Let's get started.
Very, very well said. I couldn't have done it any better myself.
And with that monologue out of the way, I think we should, of course, we owe people a lot of questions answered from last time, where we basically just rambled on about all the boots for an hour, which was good fun. I enjoyed it a lot. But before we get into the questions, Josh, I think we should just quickly jump over the new releases because we've had a lot again.
Yeah, it was a big week for new stuff. Let's. Where do you want to start? Oh, that one.
Oh, that one, yeah. Level up Mercurials. I have the AG Pro version here, but it's just as good looking as the FG in my opinion. Well, what do you think?
I think that is an early contender for colorway of the year.
Spot on.
It's everything that I like about a special Mercurial colorway. It's white and black, which is always a solid base to basically any boot. It's got safari print, which I love. And it's got classic Mercurial tie-ins to just all the best Mercurials over the years.
I think I found like 20-something references. That was wow. It's pretty strong. Yeah, you got the Safari colorway. There's the Savage Beauty. There's the World Cup 2010 Superfly 2 Elite. There's basically a lot of references. There's the Gala Night. There's the Vapor 9 Galaxy. There's the pink from the CR7. Obviously the berries, the Vapor 4 berries, could be a reference to that, or the pink from the CR7. Love to win, hate to lose. That's what it's called. There's so much stuff here, basically. That the more you look at it, the more references you find. Even some of the stripes have the texture from the Tayshian OLM upper from the Vapor 8. You remember this kind of like a suede-like texture it had.
Yeah, that little slight fuzziness.
Exactly. It's almost as if the texture from that upper is replicated in some of these stripes. Really, really cool.
Yeah.
But it's just nice. Pine green Vapor 4s here as well. Very, very nice. Obviously worn by the big man himself, CR7, Kylian Mbappe, and Samantha Kerr from Australia. Is
that all it is? Just 3 players are going to wear it?
Or just 3 players. Basically, it takes inspiration from CR7's. It's not a CR7 boot. That's important to say, but it takes inspiration in his ability to constant leveling up. Following the progress that football boots have been making, he has also constantly been taking it a level further. And the story they want to tell by slapping Mbappe in it is that, his story can inspire even other professional footballers and not just, us mere mortals out here.
Mm-hmm. A question.
Fire.
Is it a missed opportunity to not call this a What the Mercurial?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting it to be.
Yeah. It kind of, for me, it is a What the Mercurial in spirit. Because it has everything. And for me, this is actually a better What the Mercurial than the What the Mercurial.
I was going to say the exact same thing, but I didn't want to take the heat for that statement. Because I know a lot of people really like the Superfly 4 What the Mercurial, which it is cool. But, I mean, there's not a lot of design to that.
I also like the Superfly 4 What the Mercurial. I think the black Superfly 6 What the Mercurial was cool, but this is just more Mercurial to me.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
it's the 5 that the Superfly 6 they did, the all black one. It's cool to see in person because there's so much intricacy in the Flyknit construction.
Looks really good,
But the Mercurial is kind of all about the bright, flashy colors, and I think this does a good job of highlighting that, but still making a great looking boot.
And the cool thing is that even, under the flashlight, you really see the Safari popping, both the white Safari from obviously, it's a reference to the first CR7 signature boot, and then you also have the black Safari from the second CR7.
Yeah, it's not, I've seen a lot of posts on Instagram, it doesn't glow in the dark, it's reflective.
It's reflective, yeah.
Very big difference.
Oh, yeah. The glow in the dark stuff is a bitch to get to glow in the dark. Trust me.
Glow in the dark.
We made this video back in the day, Jolt and I, on called the Hunt Pack from Adi? Which where we basically we were stood there. We made this cool unboxing. We were stood there with the boots under a really, really bright lamp for like 10 minutes. Then we turned it off and we had like 30 seconds of full luminance until the boots kind of faded.
Yeah, but those I remember those too. They just didn't glow very well. I don't know.
No, they didn't. But it was a cool concept. And speaking of Adi also wanted to play. Adi also wanted to play with white boots and bright colors, so we got the Virtuso pack.
Virtuso. What a name.
Virtuso, and I'm struggling to hold all the boots up so you can see them for those of you who are on YouTube. We're basically talking all white, then with splashes of color here. Obviously, we've got the Nemesis, we've got the Copa, 19 plus, beautiful with a bit of green. Predator, which is my personal favorite, blue with all these little like colored dots and some sparkles on the outsole, and then the X, which I'm not super fond of. What do you think about it?
The X, it might as well just be the spectral mode colorway.
That's exactly what I said. Yeah.
Like, honestly, it doesn't look bad, but
it's just, we've seen it before, right?
I think it's a surprising pack release from Adidas. I think knowing that so many people, like, I didn't make any videos on this, but I know the second that I make a video on it, the comments are going to be like, are these hard to keep clean? Oh, yeah. Are they going to get dirty really easily? And that's the case with pretty much any white boot. So I think it's always a bold move to do a full white pack rather than just a limited edition release. But they do look great.
You can kind of tell here on my Copas. I've worn these. Admittedly, I'm going to hold my hands up on artificial grass, but I've worn them for maybe 2-3 hours, and they're really dirty, and they're going to be very hard to ever get fully white again.
Yeah.
So that's just the sacrifice you have to. They look really good, but they're just, they're very dirty.
The Copas are a proper white, not that off-white champagne
No, this
color.
is a proper white, which is actually really nice. I totally dig that.
Yeah. So they look good. I like the white and green.
Which is your favorite out of the pack?
The Preds look really good, and I like the dots in the Prime Knit, but at the same time, it reminds me of like, you ever really had an old pair of like cheap socks and they start to like ball up and you can see the little balls in a different color? That's what it reminds me of. Like when you first start playing and you get those like 3-inch thick socks as like as a 4-year-old kid and they ball up. That's exactly what that reminds me of. With the black sock with the gray foot. Yeah. Yeah, that's what that looks like to me, but I like them. They look really good. Honestly, dare I say the Nemesis is probably the coolest looking one. I really
That's
like.
That's a bold statement.
I like the little. I'm not a pink boot guy, but I like the little streaks. And for some reason, that colorway works well with the weird looking collar. Makes it look a little bit less weird, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. It actually makes it look, should we say, normal. I think this is one of the strongest Nemesis colorways yet, apart from the white and black one we saw. It was that. Oh, which pack was that?
I'm so bad at remembering pack names.
Yeah, there's so many packs now these days. The black and white one, let's just leave it at that, and we're gonna get so much stick for it in the comments.
Yeah, but people know. We're experts.
People know. Funny, we're pros to it. Funny thing is also the name Virtuso. Obviously, is inspired by Virtuoso. I just thought it was funny. Why not call it Virtuoso?
Yeah, I don't know.
I looked it up on Google, and it said of excellent worth.
Of excellent worth.
Yeah. Huh. Apparently that's what it means. But Puma also wanted to play and released the Hack Pack. And yes, I have indeed taken out my laces because we've just done a laces on whether or not you should take your laces out of the future. And the answer to that question is no, you shouldn't. But cool looking boot here.
Very different. I like it. I'm into anything that's kind of like remotely a little bit camo looking. And it's kind of like a digi camo paint splatter type thing. It's cool. Black and green is always cool.
Yeah, exactly. Green is a lovely color. And this is actually the Unisport green, and it just looks, the digital camo on the outsole especially. I dig that hard, but also because it's actually not all over the boot, but it just has these little splashes of digital camo. It also looks a little bit like it's blending well with the whole lava lamp texture on the future. I really like it.
Yeah, no, it's nothing. It looks a lot like the camo on the Unisport City Pack Jolter boots. That's what it reminds me of.
Oh yeah, actually, I see where you're coming from. It's nowhere close to that, by the way. But yeah, I see where you're coming from. His camo was like it was a plain mixed with, because he travels a lot, and with I think a CD or some headphones or a speaker because he likes music, and a camera. Yeah. Digi camo. That's how it goes. So there we have the three like big releases that we have been graced with. Obviously, there's also Puma 1111111 in it's very brightly green. I'm not a big fan of that, but I guess it's all right. It's a beautiful silhouette.
Yeah, no, I like how that boot looks for sure.
Definitely. Which is your favorite out of these releases then?
The Mercurials are cool. I love it whenever they tie in like the history of the line in one boot, and I feel like they've done that so well. It's cool.
Yeah, I agree. It's a winner for me too. I think the Virtuso Pack looks really good, but it's just hard to beat this guy, right?
Yeah, but Nike always does a good job with tying in stuff from the past.
Yeah, they're good at that. Okay, but so that was the new releases. Should we move on and give people the questions and more importantly the answers that we have promised them?
Yes, because we were rating boots for too long last time.
Oh,
actually, should we rate the colorways? Should we do that now? Should we? I think that's actually not a bad idea. We should rate the color, because if we're gonna go over the new releases, we might as well rate the colorways.
Sure. Okay. Level up. Where are we at?
I don't want to start with a 10 out of 10, but I'm going to say like a 9.8 out of 10. I think it's that good.
Yeah, I think it's, I would say a solid 9.5 for me.
Yeah, I think it's really nice.
Yeah. Virtuso Pack then.
The whole pack, I'm going to give it, I don't want to say that it's not creative, but it looks good. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
Same. I'm on an 8. Hack Pack.
Hack Pack. I'm going to stick with an 8 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, I actually want to go, because I like the Future a lot. I'm not so fond of the One, so I would say 8.5 for the Future, 7.5 for the One. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You're biased towards the color, though. It's not exactly fair.
But I'm rating the boot with more Unisport green the lowest. So
okay, that's fair.
So technically, I'm not that biased.
Okay, that's fine.
So that's cool. But if we should move into the questions here, I've got one from Zach Frank. Question for next episode: where do you think the major brands would be today if there were major boot swaps early on in a player's career? Say if Beckham was in T90, Ronaldinho in Copa, Messi in Mercurial, or even an Evo Speed, and Ronaldo in the Adi Zero line. I thought it was a very good question. The funny thing was that that both Messi and Ronaldo actually played in the opposite brands as, young guys. Ronaldo wore the Copa Mundial. Adidas has made a big deal out of that whenever he's won something. And also Messi obviously famously wore T90s and Chempos and even the Mercurial in his early days at Barcelona before he became an Adi athlete. But where do you think the brands would be if they hadn't had their big stars wearing their silos?
I guess it depends on how you want to look at it. Because do you credit, because yes, these are big stars that are associated with very popular boots that have become iconic because of their association with those stars. Yeah. But was it just good timing and any big name at the time would have worked and had the same effect. Like I look at Cristiano Ronaldo, and yeah, obviously the guy is going to go down as one of the greatest players of all time.
Sure.
But he also was wearing a style of football boot that was really kind of catching fire at that time and has kind of evolved into the most popular line of football boots, period. Is that because of one player, or is that because of the whole technology aspect of the Mercurial line? And then you could say the same for Beckham with the Predator series. Beckham was wearing the Predators at a time when that was like the high-tech boot that everybody really wanted, Beckham fan or not.
And you know, I also thought about it when I saw this. I said, yeah, it probably would have swayed some people if Beckham had wore T90s instead of Preds, or whatever he could have worn. But you know, back in the days, then Adi would have had Zidane and Del Piero and a lot of the other guys, Raul in the Predators still, who were also, you know, arguably even bigger stars at the time than David Beckham was, or as big, as important players. So you know, Nike had R9, they had Thierry Henry. So I think that, and especially if Messi and Ronaldo had basically just swapped brands, they rose to prominence at roughly the same time. Ronaldo maybe a little bit earlier, but I think in their big, important, really strong years, would have made a difference? I don't think so, to be honest.
No. I think what Messi has shown and what Adidas has shown with their partnership is that you can have arguably the best player in the world, but that doesn't mean he's going to sell boots.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I think the quality of the product ultimately is what matters, because all these players that are associated with these iconic boots, the boots are iconic along with the players because they were actually good products.
And maybe that's also the thing that Nike and Ronaldo have evolved together. They have basically evolved the Mercurial together and taken this more like Ronaldo-ish approach to everything, because he is more outspoken than Messi is, and he is a bit, perhaps some people will call him arrogant, but he, you know, chest forward, all that, all the attitude he brings, that has obviously been a gift to Nike and the marketing department at Nike, because, you know, it's easier to sell boots when you come out with bold statements or bold players, endorsees like Ronaldo. But I don't think in the big picture it wouldn't matter too much.
No, I don't think so. I think the brands, I definitely think that these big names help the brands, but I don't think that they make the brands.
Nah. I agree. And you know, would they be the same in the same place? Probably not. The world would be looking differently, but I don't think Nike and Adi would have been, you know, it wouldn't have been too far apart from where they are now in terms of size and market share.
Put it like this. Let's say Cristiano Ronaldo comes to Manchester United and he signs with Lotto instead of Nike.
Yeah.
Are we looking at Lotto as like one of the major powers in the football boot industry?
Oh, probably not. Not. No.
Right?
No.
So I think that says it all. You could take a big name, put them in a small brand, but the brand still stays small.
Would Lotto have been bigger today? I definitely think so. Yeah. But so of course it matters, and it matters. There's a reason these guys are paid billions, but still I don't think, you know, it's the deciding factor for how big these brands are.
But but that's the argument people like to make, where it's like, oh, how does Under Armour or New Balance or one of these smaller brands gain a significant chunk of market share? And I don't think at this point, with the reputation that everyone has established, even if you do sign a guy like Messi or Ronaldo, like this huge name, I think there might be a small spike at the start, but that's about it.
But look at Puma on the other hand. I mean, they've kind of had these two waves of signing every man and his dog out there. They had the whole Yaya Toure, Sergio Aguero wave, and then they had the whole Lukaku, David Silva company, you know, this recent wave where they just signed up everyone.
Yeah.
And I, you know, especially with the last wave here, you can really see that they're being more and more popular, and they're growing.
But Puma's always been very strategic, though. They tend to go after the players that play for the teams that wear Puma kits.
Yeah.
And City is changing to a Puma kit next season.
Yeah, they are.
Is that accurate? So it makes sense that they would go after a lot of City players.
Oh, definitely.
Right? Because it was always Arsenal. As soon as they got the Puma kit, all of a sudden, they're signing all these Arsenal players, right?
Makes sense. Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
So,
but I mean, we can also then attribute the rise of Puma recently here to the future, and the one being just solid products at €200. It's just great boots at a fantastic price.
Yeah,
that also means a lot, to be honest.
Yeah, I guess it just depends on how you want to look at it.
Yeah. That is the easy answer where we don't basically answer at all.
Perfect. Exactly what he wanted, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. So hit me with a question.
All right. Let's start here. So I've got a question from AK Channel TV. He asks, I just thought of a question. What do you guys think about the creation of remakes and the system of buying and reselling them as a whole? Should more people look at them in a perspective to wear and test them? What can Nike and Adidas do better to try to discourage people from buying and selling them? Resellers, basically.
That's a very, very good question. It's also a very long, complex question. So let's try and break it down here. What was the first part? Was that about the creation of remakes?
Yeah, what do we think about remakes being a thing in general?
Oh, I think it's a very good idea. It's basically rehashing, or playing on the nostalgia and the emotions of people who now have even more money to buy the products that they maybe didn't have the money for back in the days. So it's a very good way of activating, should we say, dormant or sleepers customers, potential customers who may not have an emotional connection to the current products, but have one to the older products. And who can kind of, see their fading football career glowing for one last round, right? So I think it's a brilliant strategy. Honestly, I think it's something that should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I like it a lot. I like that they're being made to actually play in as well. I mean, the most recent Preds, the T90 Laser remakes, they're all very, very wearable boots. Obviously, the Pred's a little bit more dated, but...
Sure, but I mean, that's also part of the fun, right? That you get a one-to-one true to the original remake, and okay, it might be from 1998 compared to the T90, which came out 9 years later, so obviously it's more modern. I just think it's nice to go down that route. But it also took some time to get there. I mean, who doesn't remember the Revenge Pack from 2014, Hybrid Touch remakes of the Predators? It was just a disgrace.
Yeah, those were not good.
No. I mean, back in the days, we were just like, oh my God, Hybrid Touch Accelerator, let me get it.
Yeah, it was cool at the time. But yeah, in the grand scheme of things, it's not great.
No.
And then I guess the second part of this question is there a way to basically stop the resellers and allow the people who really want the boots to actually get the boots?
See, that's a good question, right? Because if you do like a filtering system or like a sorting system, a priority system, so to speak, there will always be... it's always going to be skewed anyway, because then the same guys will get the boots every time. So I don't know how you can prove that you are indeed to use Adidas's terminology, you are indeed a creator and not a faker. That you just get the boots to resell. Maybe those are the guys you should target next time, Addy, the resellers, the actual scoundrels here, not people like Josh and myself who actually just collect boots because we love them and we buy them from you to keep them.
They exposed us.
I hate reselling. I think it's the worst of the worst, the lowest of the low. Especially if it prevents other people from actually owning a pair, unless they have to pay super, super high retail. But that's just the way it goes. I don't really have the solution. Because you would have to prove it, right?
Yeah, there is no solution, right? This is a relatively new phenomenon when it comes to football boots, but when you're talking about sneakers, there's a humongous industry based on buying and reselling sneakers if you can get them. And do I blame people? Like, let's be real, like let's say the T90 Laser came out, this remake, and the demand was so high that there was people willing to pay $1,000 in the resale market for them. Even as much as I like them, I would say, okay, if I just paid $250 and someone's willing to pay me $1,000 for them, am I going to tell them no?
No.
Right? Like,
of course you're not.
It's just, unfortunately, it's business. And Nike and Adidas and any brand coming out with these remakes that are in high demand, if they sell out, hey, that job done. That's exactly what they wanted to do. They don't make any money on the boot being resold. So
exactly,
there's no like the question he suggested is it maybe worth it jacking up the price a little bit? And I guess Adidas accomplished that with this Predator release. The retail is $350 US, and they didn't sell out initially because of that. And yeah, there's not really much room to go after that. But at the same time, is that really what we want? Do we want the brands to charge us way more money?
But that's also the thing. If the brands don't sell out, they don't have the incentive to do these kind of things. Then they will, I don't know, necessarily deem it as a failure, but they will not have had the same success experience with this as they would have with a boot that just sold out like that, like the T90, for instance.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't realize too is these low production volume remakes aren't really money makers. Like, I would bet that they probably lost money on that T90 Laser 1 based on just having to sort out the manufacturing for a remake like that they're only going to make 2,000 pairs of. Maybe they made money, maybe they broke even, but the reason why these releases are limited is for the sake of drawing attention and hype around the brand more than anything.
Yes,
right? And they're not money makers.
Exactly. And when people can't get the remakes, the hype products, then they go and buy the inline products. That it makes total sense. Imagine, Addy, how much, because the boots are so high quality, the quality of the materials used on the Pred remakes. Imagine the production cost of those.
Yeah.
Just imagine.
Yeah. Like in a perfect world, yeah, I'd love to just be able to buy any boot you want at retail price.
Yeah.
But that's not reality.
Honestly, I don't really have an answer to that. My best suggestion would be to know which stores have them, and then just be on time, have the finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
I've basically succeeded for a long time in getting the boots that I want for retail. I've only had to buy one or two on resale, getting the boots I wanted, because I've basically just been on the money. Same thing applies with sneakers. Yeah, I miss out on some, but because I'm actually going for it and I'm trying and I'm taking all the ways that I can get it without botting and all that crap. It usually works.
Yeah. Yeah. This is not just a football boot issue. This is a in-demand product issue, period, across the board. There's no way to fix it. Yeah,
you can't fix the jerks out there. They will always be there. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to the next question here. What is the most perfect Mercurial Vapor ever made? I think it's the Vapor 11, says Tourist with a Guide India. Funny name. So what do we think here? Do we agree with the Vapor 11? The most perfect Mercurial ever made.
No. I think there's one element. I think the sole plate and the stud pattern of the Vapor 11, yes. I'll give it that. But I still I like the Vapor 10 more.
Bro.
I like the Vapor 10 more. If you could put the Vapor 11 sole plate on the Vapor 10, then I think you have the best Vapor.
Okay. Now, you know what? I get you. I understand where you're coming from. I also liked the upper material, the Tatian synthetic on the Vapor 10. It had this like slightly padded. It felt a little bit more spongy than it does on the Vapor 11, which feels a little thinner, to be honest, and a little more crisp on the ball. I just didn't like the shape of the Vapor 10s. It felt weird. The toe box was a little bit too square for my liking, whereas they rounded it off a little bit more on the Vapor 11. So for me, that was just everything on the Vapor 11 worked for me. One of the boots I would rate very, very highly in an all-time list.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, but what about this? Not that it counts, but let's say the Flyknit Ultra counts. The Mercurial Flyknit Ultra. Is that the best Mercurial ever?
I would argue if I haven't tried in my size. It's like half to a full size too big for me.
Yeah.
But I have worn it, and from that, I would say it's very close to being the perfect Mercurial. Yeah.
I really like that. That goes down for me as like one of the most overlooked. I know there's a lot of hype around and people really like them, but in the grand scheme of like the evolution of the Mercurial line, the Flyknit Ultra is just better than the Vapor 12 and the Superfly 6. It just
I
is.
agree. I agree. I absolutely agree. And funny thing here is that we actually made a list of the boots we're rocking right now. I made that with Jolter on the Unisport channel, and he actually brought the Flyknit Ultras because he's still rocking his Fire and Ice pair because
really
that's the only Mercurial that he can basically wear. And he loves it. So
they're sick boots for sure.
Yeah, they're very good.
All
very
right,
good. Do you want to take the next one?
I've got another question. And I know you're such a fan of this boot. This is from Chaotic Cobra. He asks, why do you think the Nitrocharge failed? I personally love the concept. Great lockdown, soft toe box, good stiffness in the sole plate, etc.
See, it's a good question because I also loved the Nitrocharge. I think I liked the ones more than the twos. The twos were slightly better boots, but the ones just they had something special about them, right? Mm-hmm. I think it was simply because they didn't resonate the right way with the consumer. I mean, it kind of gave you more or less what the Pred gave you because they were both hybrid touch boots and they had rubber elements on the toe box. I know that the Nitrocharge had the energy sling. It was something completely different to the Predator, but if you didn't know and you just looked at the boots in hand, maybe they didn't seem too far apart. And what would you go for? You would probably go for the brand name or the silo name you knew, Predator, right? And also maybe it just didn't work as well as I think Adi expected it to work.
It was a marketing fail.
You think so?
I think so, because think about it. If you were to launch a brand new boot, what would you, in a hypothetical world where you're just, I don't want to say lying to people, but you want to make your boot as attractive as possible. Yeah, what are you going to tell them that your boot does? You're going to say make them faster, speed.
Okay, yeah.
You're going to say score goals, shoot better.
Yeah.
You're going to say
harder. Didn't they say shoot harder?
Something like that. Whatever. Whatever you want to say. And you're gonna promote amazing control.
Yeah.
Those three things pretty much exclusively. Adidas's approach with the Nitrocharge was be the player that doesn't get any recognition for any of those three things, but you do a lot of running around and you slide tackle.
Yeah, that was the thing. They actually they was all about more energy. It felt a little like a modernized take on the Air Zoom Total 90s from back in the day, which were also like energy to run for the full 90 minutes. But yeah, it was just like it was the boot for the guy on the team who does all the like nitty gritty grinding work. He's the engine. He's the garbage man on the team, right?
Yeah,
it's just not a sexy boot concept. The funny thing is that, I don't really know why it failed apart from that, maybe because it was actually one of those concepts that, just like the Nemesis, by the way, are really easy to understand for the consumer. You basically have something to prevent your foot from sliding around, optimizing your energy output. It should work. It sounds like it should work, and it feels pretty good on feet. There's just not that emotional connection, maybe. I don't know.
I guess to answer the question, it was a solid boot. It was very unique in terms of what it had on offer. It performed the part, but nobody bought it. So Adidas pretty much had no choice but to kill it off.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm going to be really excited to see what they do with the Nemesis. If that's going to be another Nitrocharge, or if they can actually, really make it unique and step into its own.
Yeah, because there were a lot of concepts on that boot that made a lot of sense.
On the Nitrocharge or on Nemesis?
On the Nitrocharge.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was.
I
I actually liked the boot a lot.
Yeah, no, they were solid.
I just didn't like it enough to wear it over other boots.
Yeah,
that was the problem.
Too. Yeah. All right. Sorry,
Okay,
Nitrocharge.
I have another one. Are ankle guards actually a thing? Do you get mocked for wearing them? I did buy the C6 agility guards. So sweet. From Aaron Hackett, by the way. Cheers for the question, Aaron. Ankle guards are definitely a thing. I mean, maybe it's just me who's weird, but I wear them every time I play a match because I get hacked down like there's no tomorrow.
Do you actually wear them?
I wear them. Yeah, I wear
Really?
the hyper strong match sleeves.
Okay, so the really thin ones.
Yeah, but they have the sweet pads just on the right spots, and they go all the way up my leg. I also have the ankle guard only version of it. I like it. Also because my kicking technique is so bad that sometimes I actually scrape my my ankle bone. So I hurt myself.
Really? I mean, as a kid I wore it, but almost all the shin guards as a kid. I think everyone who wore shin guards as a kid had the ones with ankle guards. That was just standard practice. At about 12 or 13 years old, when I realized why am I wearing these, I stopped wearing ankle guards, and I really haven't worn them since then. What I've always found with ankle guards is if you really do get tackled or kicked in the ankle, it's pretty much going to hurt no matter what. All the ankle guard might do is prevent like a cut or something like that.
Yeah, and that's actually why I wear it, to prevent the cuts. Because, it's going to hurt, but it's going to take the worst off of those. Especially, if you either kick yourself wearing a Mercurial, that's stupid. I happen to wear Mercurials a lot, so you can kind of figure out how that goes. Or if someone wearing a boot with bladed studs comes to kick you, because they just cut your feet a little bit more than conical studs do for obvious reasons. So that's basically why I wear them, because I just feel a little bit safer going into tackles or duels in general when I wear those. I just feel more comfortable simply.
Yeah, I mean, I would not feel embarrassed about wearing it.
At all.
I've never made fun of anybody who wears them. I've never thought differently of somebody wearing them. If it's your thing and it doesn't, I would say if you can wear them and it doesn't feel like it's in the way for you, then wear them.
Absolutely.
The main reason I don't wear them is just because I don't like how it feels.
But and that's completely fair. But a lot of people also don't like big shin guards, right? And why wouldn't you wear better protective stuff if you don't mind? I think it's just a matter of preference, and I'm completely behind wearing ankle guards. I do it all the time.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Weak.
Yeah. Aaron, by the way, also said, friends don't let friends wear plastic boots. And
plastic boots. Oh.
Yeah. That's one hell of a statement. I would agree, like if we said maybe in the 80s, but these days, the plastic boots are pretty good, man. I'm a leather guy, but the plastic boots are pretty good.
Yeah, they've come a long way. They've definitely come a long way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not gonna go too deep into that.
No.
Okay, I've got a question here from Sashin Baines. He asks, I'm not sure what to make of that. He asks, do you guys think Nike will ever give Ronaldo his own brand within football, like Jordan brand in basketball?
See, that's a tough one, right? I think there's definitely grounds for that. I mean, he's such a big Nike athlete that he would probably be near the top of the list if they decided to give another athlete their own brand, like Jordan brand. But I mean, I'm a little hesitant on saying yes for two reasons. A, obviously the whole media circus around him, surrounding him right now. I don't really know what to make of that. I think obviously if he has done it, I don't want to take sides, but if he has done it, it's a mess and it's a problem. Of course, if he hasn't done it, it's also a mess because this guy is being accused of something he hasn't done. It's a whole other issue. We shouldn't go into that. But I think that might be a little bit, there might be some people at Nike thinking if there is the risk that this man has actually done it, let's hope not, but if he has, should we just wait and see the outcome of that case? And also, do we want to flood the market with these athlete brands, if you know what I mean. Like we have Jordan brand because Michael Jordan also, I don't know how to say it, but he basically, and I'm changing my mind here as I speak. Okay, so Michael
That's
Jordan.
That's what I'm saying. Like you can't put Cristiano Ronaldo and Michael Jordan in the same conversation.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Because Michael Jordan was basically the icon and the lifestyle icon, the one that people look to, young people look to as no matter which sport you support, you watch, you enjoy. But the same thing can be said for Ronaldo. Actually, you know what? I've changed my mind. Give it to him. Give it to him.
I think the concept of Jordan brand, it seems almost ridiculous when you really think about it. It's like, it's like one line for a player that hasn't been playing for I don't know how many years now, but people still really care. And obviously Michael Jordan's a big part of the brand, but the Michael Jordan himself has almost like, you almost don't even think Michael Jordan when you think Jordan brand anymore because they've associated to other athletes as well.
Yeah.
But you still know that it's because of Michael Jordan that this brand within Nike exists. And a lot of people don't realize that Jordan brand and Nike are the exact same company. If you are one of those people that don't happen to know that. But man, for Cristiano Ronaldo, I think he's proven to be, I know we talked about this a little bit earlier in the video, but I think he's proven to be the most marketable footballer of all time by a long shot.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, he's signed to a lifetime contract with Nike. I think it makes a lot of sense.
What should his logo be then?
I think he has it. It's CR7.
Well, shouldn't it be the
Oh, it could be that. You could do that if you really wanted to just, but that's all. Isn't that almost too much of a straight ripoff of Jordan brand at that point?
I mean, yeah,
but it would. You know what? I think that would be cool, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, then they kind of go in the same direction. It kind of stays because it's the same concept, right? Make something that looks kind of like it and just put a football on it. I mean, Nike, I'll take 10%. There you go.
Yeah. Like I just think, given the social media following that the guy has, like everyone knows who Cristiano Ronaldo is. Like it just, it seems so logical.
The guy has his own flipping underwear line. I mean, come on. If people buy that, they're willing to buy anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would make sense, but I think, there must be a reason why it hasn't happened before because Nike they're pretty smart, right? If we can sit here and say, hey, it makes a lot of sense, a lot of other people at Nike would have thought about that. And so there must be some reason for it.
Yeah, maybe it's already in the works.
Maybe they're just waiting for him to retire for people to really realize how big of a player he was, and then they're going to give us CR7 brands.
Excellent impression.
Let's see. Yeah, thank you.
Excellent. Next question, Jay.
Next question. Okay, so that is from... Man, I'm getting blind here. Pingy the Penguin, what a name. Which boot has an aggressive lockdown because I have so flat feet that's not even funny. And he likes us a lot. He listens to us on Spotify every night before he goes to sleep. That's a lot of listening to the same podcast, my man. I appreciate you. Thank you. No,
maybe he falls asleep in like 2 minutes. So one podcast lasts him like a couple weeks.
Oh yeah, that's not good. That's not good. It's your soothing voice. You should be the next. You should do the next video for 10 hours where you're just purring.
Oh God, that'd be weird.
Yeah.
Wait, so lockdown for flat feet? Is that what we're on?
Aggressive lockdown, yeah, for flat feet. Obviously, you need a boot that's wide enough. If you have flat feet, that isn't, you can wear a Mercurial or you can go into the Lotto Solista, but they're really, the tooling is narrow, which means that your foot is going to feel like it's falling a little over the side. There's going to be a little bit of rollover.
Yeah.
So I would go for a wider boot. Probably the Phantom Visions.
That's what I was going to say.
Phantom
Vision
Venoms,
is
maybe?
what I would go for.
Yeah.
Venom's going to have a little bit more of a grab around the midfoot area, but I think Vision is probably your best bet. I think Puma 1 wouldn't be terrible either.
I would say Puma Future, because here you can actually even adjust the lockdown. For me, the Puma Future has the best lockdown in the business if you know how to use it, because you can actually go really deep on the outside and basically just like have a brick wall that completely prevents your foot from moving. It's not very nice, not very comfortable, but it works. So I would probably go Puma Future. Take the low one for 185 euros at unisportstore.com, and you, my friend, are sorted and you'll wear it.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's fair.
Okay, one more question here from our very dear user Darby13. Big shout out, my man. Here's a tough question. What is the most limited edition release ever? As in, which limited edition boots had the least amount of pairs released? Aside from the James Gold Adidas from 2014. I would love to see if you guys know the answer to this one. And I'm not sure if I know the answer, Josh, but I have a guess, and I actually have it here with me. But I'm going to let you guess first.
Okay, well, we're not going to count any of these like one of one pro issued things, because those don't count.
No, they don't count. But I mean, if the James boot is in the conversation, I mean, then it doesn't technically have to be released, right? Because that. Well,
how many? That's I'm saying. Those didn't even come out, right?
Weren't there like 6 or something out of 10?
I don't know.
6, 10.
I have no idea. Jay, I don't know the answer to this question.
I'm gonna say this one, the Evo Power Stampas, which is not the one that the public could buy, which came out in 250 pairs, but this one. Which we have in Unisport. It's actually signed by the man himself, Balotelli, and this was 1 out of 6 boots pairs that was made. One of which I think he got a couple of them to wear before the Puma deal was announced, and Unisport has one of them. I don't know if this is the one that Darby Yank thought about, but this is going to be my shout. 1 out of 6. It's going to be difficult to beat.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that's like, if it's out of 100, that's pretty limited. So anything lower than that's the thing. I think anything that's really, really limited like that, it almost ends up being a promotional release rather than an actual, like, you never had a chance to buy any of these boots. They made 6
no.
and they gave them away, you know?
And this is always what happens. I'm just Googling.
How are you going to find an answer on Google for that?
6 pairs of the James boots. So technically the Evo Pass Stampas are the same. He must have some boot in mind. But I'm very excited to hear what that is. We'll obviously tell you what it is in the next episode.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea.
Do you have more questions? Because I
have one more question.
Okay.
Yeah, we have time for one more. So this is from Yunus Kalufi. He asked, how do you feel about big brands moving away from more traditional synthetic uppers in favor of knitted and mesh-based uppers?
I think it's only natural, to be honest, now that the whole knit hype is taking over. But it's also, I think it's also about progress, right? Because would you stick to the same synthetic with foam and then an inner liner as you had back in, say, 2000, or instead go with either the knitted upper, which are also synthetic uppers, or the mesh silicone skin uppers that we're seeing on the Hypervenom and the Lottos and Phantom Venoms and so many other boots out there that Adi X's, not Adi Zeros anymore, Jay. The X's. So many boots, right? I think it's just a matter of progress, basically. That now lighter, more flexible, more durable materials are available, so they just move on to those. Perhaps product costs are also lower.
Probably. I'm kind of split on this one because I feel like obviously 2014 changed everything when Nike put out the Magista and the Superfly 4.
Yeah.
And then basically every brand shifted directions into doing mesh-based and knitted-based uppers.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of makes me think that there were a lot of synthetic uppers at the time that were really, really good that we don't have anymore.
Yeah, I'm missing hybrid touch, to be honest.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like, the hybrid touch material from Adidas was really good, and I would argue a lot better than some of the knitted uppers that we've seen. Like, what if the Nemesis was hybrid touch to some degree? Would that make it more interesting?
I don't know, but because to be fair, this whole knitted forefoot here is actually pretty soft, but I'm with you. I mean, the 2014 Adi Zero had an arguably softer, better upper than the current X 18.1. I would say.
you could make that. It's definitely thinner, but yeah, it's along those lines in terms of overall quality. I'm even thinking like Kangalite from Nike on the CTR line.
Oh, I'm missing Kangalite.
Right? Like those were great boots. Like Maestri 3, to me that goes down as one of the most underrated Nike boots ever.
I'm with you.
Like it's
basically
great.
When you broke it in, it felt like leather. It did feel like leather, and that was the crazy thing.
Yeah, like I mean, I there's a lot of synthetic materials I miss. I understand why it's not the thing right now because I think people. As of right now, and maybe this is going to end soon because it's been basically 5 years of this, or is that right? Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah,
I did my math correctly.
Get your fingers out.
But I mean, I have to imagine that people are going to start getting a little bit sick of the whole knitted upper thing sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And I know I say that a lot because a lot of people like to point it out in my comments. I'm aware, but I think it's necessary to say at this point in time. But I think it's I think synthetics will make a comeback fairly soon, hopefully.
I hope you're right, and I think you're right. And I think it's simply about, progress in materials and also about hype. So which is the hype product right now, or the hype material right now? That is knitted or mesh-based products. That's just where we're going, right? But I hope that the products like Hybrid Touch or materials like Hybrid Touch and Kangalite will come back because the brand, or some next-gen iteration of those, because the brands realize that, hey, they actually work pretty well.
Yeah, just for the sake of variety, I'd like to see it. Even, oh man, I'm just thinking of the Evo Powers now too.
Oh,
those are great synthetic uppers too.
Fantastic synthetic uppers. The Vigors were awesome. One of the best uppers we've ever seen on a football boots.
Yeah, they were great.
That's how it goes. But guys, do remember that if you have questions that you want answered in the next episode or coming episodes of the Boot Nerds podcast, basically anything that you could think of in relation to football or, of course, football boots, that is what the podcast here is all about, you should leave them in the comment section right down below. If you have anything you want to know, anything you want us to address, don't be shy. Leave them in the comment section right down below. We're going to try and answer as many questions as humanly possible. Now, if you haven't done so already, please leave a like on the video if you enjoyed the content. If you didn't, well, you can also thumbs down, but don't do that because that'll make us sad. Of course, also, you should go and support Josh. He makes a lot of awesome videos every day on his channel. Usually, they're pretty funny. You can click the subscribe button right over there. Now, what I can guarantee is that if you don't want to watch funny videos, you can go and click the Unisport subscribe button right over there because my face is there a lot. And as you know, I'm all just like, But go subscribe. It's actually decent content we make. And finally, you don't want to miss out on the best podcast on YouTube in the world, so you should click the button right in the middle. Go subscribe with the notifications on to see all our latest videos and all that jazz. And with that said, we're signing off. I'm Jay, and I support this message.
Later. It amazes me every time you do that, how smooth you are. All right, guys. See ya.
See ya.